Greetings. Welcome to the next lesson of how to play Xiangqi Chinese chess. This is lesson 32 of our series. And with this, we'll be picking up or continuing a discussion of what Mr. Cheng's book called Old Pawn Searching Mountain Attack. And it's a method of using an old pawn in conjunction with usually a knight and also the king that's on the central file to produce a checkmate or force loss of material. This is from a real game, 1977 Chinese National Individuals Championships. It is black to move. I'll put the players' names in the margin as I'm unable to pronounce them correctly. So at this point, it looks like Red's previous move was to move his horse right here so he could threaten to capture this black pawn, which is way down into the palace, which is kind of a menacing place. There's also, let's take a minute to look at all the pieces. Black has a horse here, has two advanced pawns. One of these will become an old pawn soon. Move here and then move over to this next square to help produce a checkmate. There's an elephant here. Of course, he can't go across the river, so he won't be playing a role here. And this advisor is also kind of out of play. But the king, though, is in a very crucial file, and he's going to be assisting here by controlling the central file. Red, on the other hand, trying to defend. He has his two advisors down here in defensive places and seemingly well placed. The king is here. Apparently, he's been smoked out of his off the back rank, probably by being checked by this horse. And Red also has a elephant here that's kind of out of play. And it kind of looks on the surface that Red can defend, but we'll find that Black is seeing a little farther into the position, and he's thinking of his old pawn, his pawn moving forward to become an old pawn. So Black's first move is actually to come here. And indeed, it does win. At this point, Red, being a grandmaster, he resigned. Now that may not be real clear, but he had it all figured out. He just resigned. He saw a forced loss. But we're going to play over some likely variations here to demonstrate why he saw fit to resign. First of all, if Red comes here, this is actually checkmate, which that's pretty easy to see. The black king controls the central file, the red king is in check, the red king cannot take the pawn, and the red king cannot retreat to here both because of the position of this black horse here. So for that reason, he sees that he can't move his advisor away from the eye because he needs to cover this square, because this crucial square is where the checkmate, he sees the checkmate coming. So he actually comes back here. The reason he wants to protect against this advance. But Black takes the opportunity there, says now Red could take my old pawn, so he does have to move it here. But this kind of squeezes the net around this red king. Red is looking at a couple different mate threats. If he doesn't do anything, suppose he does a neutral move like this, then Black could come here, for instance, check. Now the pawn can take, but watch what happens. This can come here, and that's checkmate, because king cannot go here anymore because of the position of the black king in the center. So there's not a lot of good moves for Red. In fact, there aren't any good moves. But he's apparently could try this, and he thinks, well, I'm going to take this pawn off, but what he doesn't realize necessarily is this is still checkmate down here with this horse move. And so there isn't, at this point, there's no defense really. But it's made possible by this old pawn advancing, becomes weaker by going to the last rank, but this is a special case where he's controlling a certain square, and it has to be supported, of course, by other pieces. And very, very often the king that's in the central file plays a crucial role in that, as well as some other advanced piece, like in this case, the horse. Well, that was an instructive example. The previous lesson, lesson 31, had given a study-like position using the old pawn. Well, thank you for watching. With the next lesson, we'll be skipping forward in the book a little bit and covering something called a flanking trio checkmate. So join us then and find out what that is. Thank you.